How are you doing, Faye?
How are you doing today, Jill?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was actually out. I was writing Congressman this morning.
I did some of that. I'm wearing black today. Do you hear about Black Fridays?
No.
So, do you know who Glennon Doyle is?
No.
So Glennon Doyle's an activist. She was on Oprah. Anyway, here's her credentials.
Yeah.
She and some activists have organized Black Fridays, plural, hashtag. And so you wear black on Friday, you do this, you do that. So I'm following that.
Oh, good. Yeah. So, and you change your profile pictures to black?
Well,
or
you wear black and then you take a picture and with the hashtag. And
okay.
But there are other things like you can do today. There's like a little list, and all of it's optional, of course, but it's just to make you feel empowered, I think, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that there's hope?
That there's hope, absolutely. Hi, Judy Kane.
Hi there.
Hi, Judy. Faye. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Judy. Hello. Good to see you, Judy. I haven't seen you in a week or two.
I know. Yeah, I had the piece for tarpon, so.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see
the kitty cats today. I don't see them behind you.
One of them's in the sliding door, looking longingly outside, and the other one is behind me.
Oh, there, yes, chilling out on the back of the sofa.
Yeah.
Funny.
It's cute.
And the dog is looking at me like, "You're going to be sitting there again, aren't you?"
Yeah.
Morning, ladies.
Good morning, Faye. How are you?
How are you? I've missed all of you.
We missed you too.
You.
Been away every Friday for weeks.
Well, we're glad you're back.
The trip to North Carolina last week was very eventful because at 10 of 2 in the morning, the sirens went off telling us we had to evacuate immediately.
For tornadoes or hurricane?
Flood.
Flood.
We were on the other side of North Carolina, so the river.
So you got the rain and all
like
that.
Weird rainstorm, and the river ran high, and
oh wow,
oh my goodness!
You were on the road coming home.
Yay! I hope they're okay. Good morning.
I would much rather have been here.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're back home. Welcome back.
I see Judy has her cat standing in. We're going to do animal communication today.
Dom is going to be me for today. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, Mary Beth's teaching me how to communicate, so perhaps I could offer my services, Judy.
Perfect. Yeah. I've had a couple of sessions with Mary Beth. I've gotten some insights.
Oh, you were the good one. Yes. I'm taking Mary Beth's You Connect class. So this week we connected with Stella, her dog. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, I would love to see that happen. Good morning, Connie Jo.
Good morning, Connie Jo. Good to see you.
I'm here.
You're here. Yay. Excuse me. I'm going to wait for Margaret to come back in. There she is.
I was getting my notepad so I could take notes.
Y'all ready? Make you work this morning early. Hannah's visiting with her sister, so I don't think she's coming today. And I'm not sure about Judy Fritz. I think she's traveling. I think. And Debbie.
I think she is. I saw her picture of her speaking yesterday.
Yeah, I think she's speaking. And then Debbie just came back to the U.S., so hopefully she's sleeping. Although I did see an early morning picture of her and the cat. So perhaps she's...
Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay, then I gotta find that.
Yeah.
Cat do okay? He recovered all right?
Yes.
He did.
Yes. And she took a picture of her this morning cuddling, so I guess the cat's probably pretty glad that Debbie's back home.
Yeah, Debbie probably is to see the cat.
Yeah, I would be too. Yeah. So we'll send Debbie lots of love and Princess Leia.
Yes.
So we'll go ahead and get started. Everybody could go to the chat box. You know the routine: first, last name, email address. It's good to see everybody this morning. We will get started with elevator speeches, and then I will switch over. You're going to hear a lot of my voice today. I'm going to do a presentation today. I'm going to make you work a little on Ideal Client, and then we'll finish up with our announcements. So let me get my my Brady Bunch up here, or someone called it Hollywood Squares, which I thought was cute. So first up will be, let's start at the bottom today, Connie Joe.
Oh, I'm Connie Jo Miller of Enigma Bookkeeping Solutions. If you're sick of doing your books, if you're behind on your books, if you're doing your books but you're not really sure if you're doing them right, if you're doing your books and you still don't really know financially how your company's doing, call me. I do bookkeeping and financial coaching. And I will take all of those things off your to-do list, all your bookkeeping things off your to-do list so that you have more time to spend with your ideal clients. And it can help you increase your bottom line.
Yes, that was a good speech, my dear.
Well, thank you.
Something a little new.
Somebody gave me some hints how to do it that way. I can't remember who it was.
Somebody brilliant, I'm sure.
Something named Jill, Bill, something like that.
Phil.
Phil.
Well, we're glad you're here, Connie Joe. Mary Beth, you're up next.
Okay, I'm still connecting to animals. Mary Beth Decker, sacredgrove.com. I'll tell a quick story. I don't do this officially, but I help people find their animals once in a while if they're friends and clients. I had somebody's niece in North Carolina moved to a new house. Dog ran away, very timid dog, rescue dog, gone 8 hours, reached out to me. I connected with her and told the woman to be like a beam of light, a lighthouse, and asked the dog Sadie to go back. And within an hour, she got back to the house. So, yay! Yes. Now, so I do a lot of different things like that, where I connect and request changes in behavior, even ones that say, please go home. Mary Beth Decker with sacredgrove.com.
Well, we're so glad they had a happy ending.
Those are the ones I like to tell.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yay! Judy Kane, top that.
Oh my, that's going to be hard to top. Yeah. Although I had a very excited client this week. It was somebody that Mary Beth connected me with. That is she was so excited about results. It was like 2 texts and an email and a voicemail, like a day or 2 after the session. So, yay, that was cool. So I'm Judy Kane, and my business is called Aligned Consciousness, and I help people rewrite subconscious self-limiting beliefs. People come to me for 3 main reasons: either the big emotions that kind of keep you from functioning, grief, phobias, trauma, anxiety, or because you're not hitting the goals that your conscious mind wants to hit, or because you're experiencing physical symptoms of stress. So, any and all of the above.
I'm glad that you connected. I'm glad it sounds like a referral happened. So happy, that makes the networking girl happy. Yay!
I've gotten some really good contacts through this. Yeah.
Awesome. That makes me smile. That's what I want for you all. Really, really do. Cool beans. All right, Ms. Margaret, you're next.
Good morning. So here in sparkling Dunedin, Florida, the author of The Chatter That Matters, Your Words Are Your Power. So if you're having a struggle with that negative mind chatter, that negative self-talk, like to get a handle on that, transform it into something that you can believe and work on and empower yourself, call me. I'm Margaret Martin, life coach, career coach, speaker, and
LinkedIn expert.
Thank you. LinkedIn expert. Thank you. That's a good one.
What I have to throw that in there.
Yeah. So that's me today.
Good morning. Lots of hats. I'll go next. I'm next on the collage. I'm Jill Celeste, and I'm the founder of the Celestial Circle. And it's a lovely group of entrepreneurs who are ready to change their businesses and improve their mindset. This month we're working on abundance. And I have Connie Jo Miller leaving dollar bills all around Cummings, Georgia with little notes. I have Audrey in the Bronx leaving money all around the Bronx and picking up change off the ground. And I think everybody's having a good time tracking their abundance. And I had one of the members got a client. I won't take 100% credit, but I think an abundance mindset does definitely help. So if you're interested in learning more, come join us at thecelestialcircle.com. Faye, last but not least.
Good morning, ladies. Thank you for having me back. I am Faye Tarshus, and I own Kathy's Cape. Kathy's Cape is a cape that's created for people, men, women, and I'm working on children, to wear. The cape is made of fleece and is to be worn during infusion therapy. It's created for chemotherapy infusion. It's very cold in those rooms. It's really just kind of scary. And so the cape is multi-purpose. It keeps you warm. It has pockets to hide all your personal belongings, your book, your Kindle, and Kathy's Cape.
It's wonderful. Thank you. We're so glad you're here. And Connie Jo had shared, and for those of you who may have missed it, Connie Jo had shared an article about Faye in our Virtual Networkers Facebook group. So please take a moment to go read about Faye.
Thank you, Connie Jo.
Yeah, it was a beautiful article. So I just love learning more about, there it is, more about Kathy.
I have a few copies in my car.
I hope you do. You should.
Yeah, just a few. I went over yesterday to ask for a couple of copies, and she said, tell me a number. And I said, well, like 25, because I could deliver them. And she said, or maybe 30. And she said, how about if I just give you a bundle of 50? And I'm like, okay.
Twist my arm.
Just have them. So if y'all want one, like cover a spot on your desk or something, I have them.
You should put, I would send them to the hospitals. Well,
The hospitals get them.
Yeah. Oh, good.
They're all the hospitals and most doctors' offices and over 18,000 homes.
Oh, wonderful. Good for you. Good exposure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so be sure to check that out if you have a moment. So now we're going to flip to me again. I actually have just a presentation, nothing terribly fancy, but let me get it set up here. Just because I want you to have prompts on the screen. So now let me go this way. I got two monitors, so if you wonder why I'm looking over here. Share. Come on, computer. Either the computer or the operator is not fully awake yet. I'm going to blame it on the computer. Anyway, can you all see the slide that says your ideal client? Good. So we're just wondering, we're going to talk about your ideal client, who I use the word serve. You can plug whatever word you like to you put in there, but I believe that we are meant to serve only a certain people in the world, not everybody. And this is often something that entrepreneurs get tripped up on because we want to make money. That's really what it comes down to. And we often cast our net too wide, but we really, it behooves us to narrow our niche down to people that are really contracted to work with us. And that's what we're going to work through today. If you don't have pen and paper, you may want to grab something, because I do have you working on exercises today. So the first thing I want you to remember is that you are not everybody's healer. Seth Godin says, not everybody is your customer, and he's absolutely right. What happens if you start working with people who are not ideal to your business is two things happen. First of all, you're not really helping that person because there's not a connection there. And the second thing is often you feel undervalued. If you ever worked with somebody who's not your ideal client or way not your ideal client, it can make you real cranky because you're not feeling like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. That person often isn't giving you great feedback. So it's really imperative. It's a mindset shift to remember that you only are supposed to work with the people who your ideal client is. And sometimes we don't discover that until we start working with that person, and that's okay. But if you have the instincts, the guts that maybe this person isn't right for you, that those instincts are usually spot on, and give yourself permission to refer that person to somebody else. So we're going to work today on ideal client. And what I want to just preface this with is you can do ideal client exercises for a variety of things. You can do it for your business as a whole. You could do it for a specific program. If you have a particular program you're launching or a course, you can do an ideal client work just for that. It could be for your lead magnet. It could be for a book. I mean, it really is innumerable, the options you have. So today, I want you to think about what ideal client you'd like to work on for this particular little mini workshop that we're having today. And it may not be for your whole business, and that's okay. It could be, again, like, Mary Beth for her healing circles, or Margaret for her course that she's putting together, that type of thing. It's perfectly okay to have that, because often there might be a difference between the program and your overall ideal client for your business, because maybe you niched it down even further for that specific product. Or if you're writing a book, the ideal reader may be a little different from your client, and that's okay. So what you see on your screen is my ideal client. I work on my ideal client all the time. In fact, in preparation for this class today, I updated this yesterday during study hall for those of you in the Celestial Circle. And I'm always updating this as I learn more information, either good or positive or negative about my ideal client. I'm always thinking about this. And this is just to show you, first of all, that this is always a work in progress, that you should always be updating it. And, the type of information that we really want you to know about your ideal client. So you all can read. Many of you have worked with me in the past, so none of this is entirely new, but you can see that I know, ages and gender and experience level and the state of their marketing, where they might be networking, where they are on social media, what their hobbies and interests are, who they follow, etc. And so this is just a snapshot for you to show. And you'll also see that I have a stock photo here in the middle. I like to use photography with my ideal client. This is optional. This may not speak to you at all, but I liked it because it just kind of personifies the person I want to help. And often this demographic, this age, etc., is who I serve through the Celestial Circle. That may not fit for you. I also have named my ideal clients in the past, Penny, etc. You don't have to do that as well, but it does often help in your marketing, and I can talk about that in a few minutes, to name and have a photo there. I don't recommend using a real client photo, even though visually in your head you might have somebody in your Judy's laughing at me. But even because I think it'll alienate the other clients. So let's just find the perfect stock photo for that, if that speaks to you. So any questions so far? Okay, good. We're going to move on because now we're going to get to work. So really what the study of your ideal client really comes down to two things, for a very scientific term: demographics and psychographics. And on your slide, you see a column for demographics and a column for psychographics. So let me define both. Many of you may already know this, but just to be sure. So demographics are classifications of people by specific societal characteristics. And you can see age, sex, marital status, race, etc. You can see that on your slide. And then you have psychographics. Psycho meaning mind, right? So psychographics are the characteristics that are going on in the head of your ideal client. So again, activities, interests, opinions, values, their benefits, their loyalty to a certain brand, etc. Those are all things that make up the psychographics. And it's really in your best interest to know as much about your ideal client so that your marketing resonates with them. So it really helps to know the answers to the bullet points that you see here. Now, some are not applicable to your business, and that's okay. If they're not applicable, you can toss them aside. But for those that are applicable, you want to find out as much as you can about that specific characteristic. So what I want to do right now is, if you have paper and pen, is I want you to look first at the list of demographics and then the list of psychographics. And I want you to jot, don't make complete sentences, just to brainstorm. Some people I know who do this take a sheet of paper to put a line right down the center, put D at the top, P at the top for demographics, psychographics, and they just start rattling off the ideal client age, ideal client sex, ideal client marital status, if that's applicable. So let's take a few minutes for you to jot down, to brainstorm what you think the answers are for each of the characteristics in each column. Does that make sense? Thumbs up if it does. Thank you. All right. I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and let me know if you have any questions. Wave your hand around if you do. And as you're working, I wanted to specify under the demographics, if you have a type of business where you need someone with a lot of disposable income, that's why things like home ownership and type of car, as well as income, come in very handy.
Jill, under psychographics, when it says benefits, could you just explain that? Benefits usage? Is this benefits to the person of, anyway, I'll just ask the question.
So what that means is, what are they looking for in a program? What benefits would they receive from working with you or with that specific program, reading the book, etc.? And just so you know, the loyalty usually refers to a brand. Are they loyal to Apple? Or are they loyal to Lexus? That kind of thing.
Jill,
Yeah.
I don't want to sound paying attention because I like to sit at the front of the class and listen really well.
You're fine.
But as I'm sitting here writing my words, am I to attach information to that, like what it means to me, or just the verbiage to explain it? Do I need to?
Just the verbiage to explain it. That's a great question for right now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to give you just a couple more minutes to finish this up. And don't forget, you'll get this recording, so you will have this for your reference in the recording link. So as we finish up, raise your hand if you had a guess on anything. If you had to guess on what your ideal client is. Margaret, yeah. That's, everybody looks like everybody's shaking their head and raising their hand. That's actually very normal. Guessing is 100% okay. Knowing is better, of course, but sometimes we have to guess. How many of you were just not sure on some things? Yeah, that happens as well. Now that you have sort of a list of criteria or characteristics to go by, what you can do is if you have any holes, things that you're not sure of, is that you can ask your ideal clients. So there's lots of different ways you can do this. One way I do is I think about people I've already served. And if I were to segment them, because I've worked with lots of people over my career, who were the A clients, meaning the ones that I wish I could clone into all terms of the local? I would make a list of those people, and I would reach out and ask the questions. And so you could take, what you learned from this slide and make it into a questionnaire that you can send them through like SurveyMonkey or JotForm, or you can get them on the phone and ask them to, answer the questions to help you fill the hole. But I would make a list of ideal clients to ask to help you fill in the holes. And if you aren't sure, this is the best way to do it. And Connie Jo, the first time I ever had a conversation with Connie Jo is that she was doing an exercise like this, and she got my name from Debbie Keevan, and she and I got on the phone, and she asked me questions about bookkeeping and et cetera, because I was her ideal client. And I'm assuming Connie Jo did that with a lot of other people. And I'm going to assume that she got a lot of good information from those interviews. It really does help. Connie Jo, do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Did you glean good info when you did those interviews?
Yes. Yeah. But I need to do it again.
Okay.
Because I've learned so much since then.
Yeah.
So I really need to, I could even ask the same questions, but I think the answers would mean something different now than they did back then.
Yeah, I think that's a part of I think it's a normal part of the process to even ask the same questions again. So what I'd like for you to do right now is to write down, whoever comes into your mind, just write down a list, brainstorm of people you'd like to reach out to. Again, these could be current or past clients or people you you're not serving yet but would like to. This is a great way to follow up with them. And write down a list of people you would like to reach out to ask them some additional questions about their psychographics and demographics, but don't use those words because that will scare them. It's okay, Faye. And as you think about this list, what I want you to do, of course, put this as a homework assignment to reach out. I invite you to do that sooner than later. Put some time on your calendar. If you're not sure how to reach out to this person, especially if they're a past client or a current client, what I always like to say is, I'm looking for more wonderful people like you. And, just tuck a good compliment in there. Explain that you're trying to attract more clients just like them, and that you're doing some research on the personalities and behaviors, whatever use the right term for your people. And they are always so glad to help you. They really, really are. If you do a survey to a group of people, what I recommend doing to incentivize them, and you've probably heard me with this tip before, is to offer a raffle. So everyone who gets their survey back to you by a certain date will be entered into a raffle to win something. Usually I do a gift card to Amazon. It just gives them a little extra incentive. It really will increase the likelihood that they'll send back some information to you. So if you go the survey route and you're emailing the survey out to them, I would add a little incentive in there. It doesn't have to be a gift card, but whatever makes sense for you, just to incentivize them. If it's maybe a free call or a free session, whatever, this just to get them motivated. Does everybody have their list made? Julie's still writing? Okay. We're good? Okay. So once you gather all this information, your psychographics, your demographics, you've done these interviews, what I recommend doing is creating what I call an ideal client persona. You may have heard this called as an avatar. You may have heard it referred to as ideal client profile. It's all the same. I have an example of one on my website. You're always welcome to refer to that. But basically, you're creating a narrative. And it's written in the second person with the word you. So you're directing it to the person reading it. And it has a flow. And the 4 bullet points here that you see are the flow that I recommend. And basically who you are. So it's a state of the union, what they are, who they are. So that's the top part of those demographics: age, sex, gender, rate, whatever. Then what your issues tend to be, that's from the psychographics section, right? The behaviors, the things that are keeping them up at night. The things that you can solve for that person. And then you move into what you need more right now. This back again from the psychographics section with the benefits, that kind of information. And then what your next step is, your call to action. So if they make it that far down and they're reading this narrative and they're like, oh, this is me. This is like it's written for me. That's what you want them to feel. then don't leave them hanging. Give them a call to action, whether it's to get on the phone with you for a discovery call, click on the link to grab the lead magnet, check out this program, whatever your appropriate call to action is, you want to make sure you have it at the bottom so they know what to do next. So again, you can see an example of that there on my website. Other people have it. This is a real common thing for coaches, especially to have. And I have mine on my website. And the reason why is because when someone comes to me, and mine is titled Who I Help on the navigation, is I want them to read this and feel like I am inside of their heads. And when you can make that connection, you will more than likely be able to have that person become your client. It also repels, right? So it attracts and repels. So someone reads this, they might be thinking, oh my God, this is horrible. They're going to click off. And that's good too, right? Because we're dealing with only our ideal clients. So it has a two-part job. I recommend putting on your website. I've also in the past have created a flyer, just like I put my header on the top of a Word document, copy paste it from the website and PDF it. And I went to a lot of in-person networking meetings. And then when I did speaking gigs, well, I still do speaking gigs, but especially when I was on, like I did a little road show, I would give that to all the participants in the networking meeting and speaking. And that way they know exactly who I was supposed to help. Another good place to put this is for those of you who do any kind of mailings. So, there's the warm letters, as some of you are familiar with that terminology. Basically, letters that you ask for referrals. Providing this information to referral partners, JV partners, it allows them not to guess who to refer to you because they have an exact profile. So there's a lot of different ways to repurpose this information to help you with your marketing. Those are some tips there. So what I recommend doing after you get all this homework done is to create this ideal client persona, avatar, whatever you like, and putting it on your website is a first step. Any questions on that? How many of you have this already? Yeah, kind of. Probably could be updated maybe. Yeah, and that's as normal. So what I want to say, because Connie Jo mentioned this earlier, is she did a lot of work at the beginning of the year and she's already feeling like she needs to do this. This could actually be a quarterly exercise, honestly. That depending on how many people how active you're marketing, you will learn so much more information. So for some people, I recommend putting a little tickler on your calendar. So if you're doing this in October, then maybe look at it after, in January, February, and kind of go on throughout the year, just to help you always fine tune. Because the more you know about your ideal client, the better your marketing is going to be. Always, always, always. So it's really an important practice to be always updating and learning and siphoning out information that you've gathered through the months as you are doing your marketing. For those of you who do any kind of Facebook ads, the psychographics and demographics will help you with your Facebook ad targeting. Because if you know that your person loves Oprah and drives a Lexus and has this income level, those are all specifications for a Facebook ad campaign. So there's a lot of different ways to use this information beyond your website. I just wanted to mention that it will improve your Facebook ads as well, because the information you've gathered are things that Facebook has in their algorithm, well, in their ad intelligence, for lack of better words. So definitely put that there. Now, once or while you're gathering this information, I just want to reiterate, some people, I know, God bless you, you gather the information, then you kind of don't do anything with it. That's the common thing with entrepreneurs. Sometimes we almost finished. The last piece of this puzzle is to go find your ideal client once you've identified who it is. And this is really a reminder that your ideal clients could be a lot of different places. What I want you to do is I want you to be intelligent about the places you are, meaning you should only be in places that are frequented by your ideal clients and or frequented by referral partners who share your ideal client with you. So if you are, like for me, like I work with a lot of women, going to an all men's networking group to speak is probably not going to be that beneficial to me, right? That kind of thing. If you have a largely female demographic, social media wise, you want to be thinking about Pinterest and Facebook, because that group of, that the demographic is largely female, especially on Pinterest. So knowing the demographics, the psychographics, where your ideal client is, will help you make smart decisions as to where you should be physically, even to be in front of your ideal client. This is a snapshot. That's actually the blog post that I put out yesterday. Expounds upon all of these bullet points you see here. So if you're like, what does she mean by inbox, mailbox? It's all on that blog post. You can go check it out on my website. But this is a short list. These are 19 places you can find your ideal client. They are definitely out there. But I want you to make sure you're only picking. So if you're thinking, yes, I want to go networking. So think about the networking places that'll put you in front of your ideal clients or put you in front of the referral partners that work with your ideal clients. If you're going to sponsor an event, sometimes people, like, especially like my community, I'm a small community. So, can someone sponsor the football team? Can someone sponsor this charity event? And sometimes you just do it because it's a good thing to do, right? It feels right. But if you're doing it from a purely marketing perspective, you want to make sure that the audience in front of that sponsorship matches your ideal client. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything out of it except for a good heart, which is okay. But from a marketing standpoint, you're not going to get a connection. Same thing with like vendor opportunities. I can't tell you how many times I have had clients, their local church is having a vendor fair, and they go and throw a table up, and their ideal clients are not walking in front of them because they didn't ask the church, in this case, who is your audience attending this event, and making sure there's a match, right? So that's just a very long list of reminding you to use the information that you've gathered about your ideal client to help you make smarter decisions, including where you need to be. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening. I'm going to turn the slides off and let me answer your questions. Hold on just a second. Stop the share. So what questions do you all have about your ideal client, the demographics, anything? Go ahead, Judy.
It's not a question, but I had a really important aha when you just first started it, because I always get stumped with the demographics. And I've got avatars, and I've done all that because I was, I know that's important in what you're doing. And I was never quite comfortable with some of them because it wasn't quite right. And I always thought the struggle was because I was unwilling to narrow my focus. Mm-hmm. My aha is my avatar isn't based on the things that are typically what the characteristics are in an avatar. Mm-hmm. It's not so much the gender or the age, but it's when I saw some of your stuff of up in one of the early things, it had the beliefs there.
Yeah.
And that's who I'm targeting. I'm targeting the people that have tried every other modality and still can't get that breakthrough. They really want this change. They know it's possible. They just haven't found the way yet. Those are my people.
Those are the people. It doesn't matter if they're male or female, 15 or 75, whatever, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So this was really cool.
Good.
I feel so relieved that I don't have to fake that avatar anymore, because now this I resonate with. So that's cool. Yeah.
Good. And I one time I had somebody I coached, and I don't remember what she did because it was many years ago, but she was hung up on the demographics. She's like, I don't know. I'm trying to find how much money they make. I'm trying to find out what's men or women. I don't know. And what was coming down to was that she, like you, we just needed to focus more on the behaviors and their struggles, and the rest of it didn't matter. Right? It didn't matter. You serve is like that. So anyway, I saw Faye's hand go up, and then I saw Margaret. So go Faye then Margaret.
This might sound a bit snotty, so take it with a grain of salt, because I don't know how to say it or couch it in a more polite way than just I thought twice. I was recently asked to be a vendor at an event that was free to an area that wanted to give free health screenings. So it was a health fair for free screenings. And it was presented in a way of, well, this would be a great way to get your capes out. And I said, well, go ahead and send me the information. But I've done vendor events. I've had a few businesses over the years, and I jumped at every one possible. I paid top dollar. And I left kind of with the same stuff I went in, minus money. So over the years, I've tried to get a little smarter. I didn't want to think what I thought, but I had to think it and be realistic. It's a free health fair, which to me meant to pay $50 for a cape might not have been plausible.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt, and thankfully I had overlapping plans. So
You had a good reason.
thank you, but I've already got something going on. But I've reached the point where, well, people will say, well, maybe, one cape is better than no capes. No, my time has to have more value than that.
Yeah.
I have to have more value than that. And if there's somebody who can't afford a cape, I most likely will give them a cape. But that is one cape. That is not my entire day schlepping an hour and 10 minutes. And in Atlanta, we know no place is easy south of these little suburbs. Setting up for 3 hours, 4 hours, breaking down an hour and a half back, I had to say no thank you. I may have rearranged my day had I seen the value.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I didn't have to rearrange my day because, and again, I don't want to sound ugly or crappy, but there was no value in it.
Yeah, it's not value for you. It's a value for someone providing a health screening because they get to capture the information of the person they're taking the blood pressure on or the blood sugar.
Exactly.
I've done those booths before, on from the healthcare side. But for
Yes.
a vendor, the only people who benefit from health screenings are the healthcare providers and the person
receiving.
Right? And if you don't have something that allows you to capture information, et cetera, then yeah. So you made the right decision. You weren't being ugly about it either. You were making a smart decision. You weren't serving the people who were coming through anyway.
But you have to also know your value.
Absolutely.
It's taken me a lot of years. And somebody said to me yesterday, oh, my father's having a big party. He's turning 60 this weekend. Oh my God. I said, I am older than your dad. So having said that, it took me a long time to know my value and accept it, because sometimes accepting your value
Absolutely
is very hard because you have to elevate yourself a little bit, and sometimes you're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So I was really excited that I was able to say no. So this
Good for you.
exercise kind of made me feel better. Thank you.
Yay.
I'm
Awesome.
just guilt. I'm sorry.
You're good. Margaret, what you got to say? Question or concern?
Quick question and just clarification on avatar. What is it?
An avatar
is an avatar.
Avatar / profile / persona. All the same. It is a narrative.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure I was understanding that correctly.
Yeah.
And as I was looking at this, I looked at demographics for coaching clients and, for life coaching. And then I agree with, even though my ideal client is probably 45 to 60, plus, I think that it's interesting that I've often coached more men at a time than women, even though I've narrowed it down. And that was one of the things many, many years ago, I was extremely resistant to, forming my niche, because I thought, well, I serve men as well as women, even though I work, I really want to work with women. I tend to end up working with more men than women. So it was that crazy realization that even though you create a niche, that doesn't mean you won't serve other people.
Well, I think it's okay to have, it's okay to say men and women in your niche, because what it really, it's kind of like Judy. It's the problems that you solve that make them unique from the other.
Exactly.
women.
And as I was going through the list, and I was glad to see the, benefits in there and the beliefs. And so, and the attitudes and things like that, those were more important for that than what car they drive.
Exactly. You have permission to say, you know what, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna just cross that off. Yeah, I love that. That's great. Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you.
Mary Beth or Connie Jo, any questions? Yep, go ahead, Mary Beth.
Oh, well, I thanks, Faye, for sharing, because I was just thinking the same thing. I've gone to some health fairs, and the people who came, like there was one for a hotel, those were the people that worked for the hotel in the maintenance area, and like this was massage. They're not going to go for a massage. And then my friend had me come to a retirement home health fair, those folks were more interested in grabbing the free candy than hearing what I had to say.
Not your ideal client.
No. And so I've been getting out, and the pet expos that happen around that the counties do. Those have been wonderful. The metaphysical stuff.
Yeah.
I found out that really works for me, because there's also, okay, we got people that believe in woo woo,
Yeah.
and there's pet lovers in there, and so it's like a lovely combination. I also I'm not sure. I think I do also a trick. You know what? Okay, we're all older women, so I think being older is kind of an attraction to other women who are older, because
Oh,
we
absolutely.
get so damn sick of seeing this 20-something person complaining about the wrinkles that are on their face. You know? and you're like, oh, an older woman who does something valuable. And I do attract older women, and who and it's lovely. It's and you know, I thought that it was I thought that you had to be a Marie Forleo kind of looking person to get, but there's not all of us.
Mm-mm.
Not all of us have to be. We don't have to be that.
Exactly.
But our age is also a plus in cases. So
I agree.
it's just interesting for me to realize that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think it can add to your credibility, probably, unless it's something that's a really newer technology. You know, I think people's general opinions, you're not going to have 20-somethings go into a 70-year-old to learn how to use the latest
Instagram.
technology. You know, that's probably playing against you. But for things like this, I would agree. I think it's because
Don't be
it's
so
life-lived experience and wisdom that's there to blend in.
Yeah.
I was going to say, don't be so sure, Judy Kane. I'm 70 plus, and I know more about LinkedIn than a lot of 20-year-olds. So there you
Oh,
go.
I'm not saying we can't know it. I mean,
I get it. But are they going to come to me? Probably not.
I'm sure I know more about it than my two daughters.
Oh, you know, it's something like, okay, I'll tell a quick story. My smart-ass son says to me, he'd get a message on the phone. He says, I'm leaving an old people voicemail instead of texting you, Mom. And then he went through this voicemail. It's that, yeah, right? Smart-ass kid. So I know what you're talking about.
Sorry, Mom.
No, he's teasing me. He's
Oh,
like,
that's funny.
you old people put out your voicemails. So, yeah, I get that mentality.
It's funny. My mother's the only one who leaves me a message. Now that you mention it.
Mm-hmm.
Connie Joe, anything? Any questions or any concerns? Anything we can help you with? Or are you good?
No, it was just fun thinking about like the questions like about values and beliefs, and I'd never really.
And it may not be applicable, you know. Like I use the biases a bit. I'll say that I know I can say this in this crowd. I don't tend to attract somebody who watches Fox News, for example. Right. So when I do an ad campaign, I have certain things that you can, like on Facebook ads, you can exclude. So anybody who likes these pages won't see your ads. And so knowing the biases and knowing their values that may not align with me, I can just exclude that. And it helps narrow that focus down a little more.
Well, and that's the way I was looking at it is who do I want to serve? And I don't want to they might be perfect, but morally.
But it's your choice. It's your business.
I don't want those kind of clients.
Yeah. Isn't that nice?
I know somebody else that may serve you better, but it's not going to be me.
And that's okay.
Personal statement. Earlier in the year before earlier in the year when I left my two little part-time jobs to do Kathy's Cape, they were a fiance team. And before they were fiancés, she was as sweet as sugar and he was kind of a horse's patoot. After a little bit, she became that same patoot. And we all knew where we stood politically and, you know, how we felt about things. I had this nice relationship where we just didn't go there until he was very verbal about it. And not one time went by where I didn't hear something negative said about people that I believed in, and some things were really bad, really, really bad. And I just told my husband the other day, I said, I think about that now, and it causes me anxiety to think how I had to sit there and just tolerate it because he signed the paycheck. But it's so wrong. And you shouldn't be subjected to that. So if you have a choice,
Absolutely.
then you make the choice that's best for you. But it was very hard on me to have to listen to that. And one day I finally said, you know what? We're on two different sides of the fence. You need to keep your opinion to yourself. You don't pay me to do your political thinking for you.
Good for you, Faye.
So you must stop. Well, he was using words I don't use.
Yeah.
And saying things I don't like to hear. And while the words I don't use is one thing that's offensive to anybody and everybody, the things I don't like to hear is my choice. I don't want to hear what you think about these people you think are wonderful, and I personally think they suck. But we don't have that relationship. That's not, you pay me to do a job. You don't pay me to be subjected to that. When somebody's paying you, as Connie Cho just said, you're kind of forced to put up with what people want to tell you when they're paying you. You can't say, I don't want to hear that. Just give me your money. Like you just can't. So you have the opportunity to make those decisions.
Yeah, great feedback.
One of the things I wanted to add too is that as a trainer and facilitator of programs, I have been contacted by different organizations to present for them. And so recently I was contacted by a man that I had worked with several years ago, and he wanted me to do training programs with different companies around the Tampa Bay area, which, that's nice income. But I turned him down because of his level of integrity. And because while I was working with him previously, a colleague of mine had talked to him about putting together, a program focused for youth. And she talked to him about the program she had developed, and he took her stuff.
Oh.
And so, I just told him I was not, I talked to him at first for a little bit. I thought, well, this would be good. And then all of a sudden I remembered that his level of integrity. And then I looked at the quality of the materials, and I said, you need to improve the quality of your materials. And, I'm a disc profile trainer. And so I've been with the original disc for 20 plus years. And he's using a knockoff that is not even appropriate. And so the level of integrity did not match mine. So I just told him I would not be able to work with him. So those are the things we also have to look at when we have those opportunities come in. It's not only the ideal client who, when people come to us to work with them, we have to, for me, I have to stick to my level of integrity.
Oh, absolutely. I think all of us would agree with that. That's great.
So the big takeaway is when you really understand your ideal client, you know who to say no to.
Exactly.
It really,
and you feel okay with it.
Yeah.
Right.
You got it on paper. It's on paper. See, I can say no to you.
You don't fit my criteria.
Yeah. Ixnay.
Ixnay. See you later. Bye. Well, I hope this was helpful for you, Lee. It sounds like everybody got a couple nuggets of info. I'm glad to hear that. And that was fun. We'll do another one in the future with something else. I always got something up my sleeve. So we'll move into announcements. This is your chance to announce anything that you're promoting, referrals that you're looking for, etc. Please feel free to use the chat box to drop in links if you have something you want to drop in there. And I'll start in the middle with my Brady Bunch here, and that's Judy Kane.
Oh, okay. No events yet, but as always, looking for coaches to connect with so that we can get those good referral partnerships going and ease your client's path towards success.
Yes, good job. Thank you, Judy. Mary Beth?
Okay. Well, my monthly Fur Buddy Healing Circle, and I can tell you guys, I didn't do Fur Baby because I think it has pictures of little little dogs stuck in purses. And I just hate that concept. So it's the Fur Buddy Healing Circle, folks. But anyway, it's not that kind of when we do a chapter. It's a Fur Buddy, damn it. The Loving Fur Buddy Healing Circle is Monday night, 7:30. A little bit of animal communication. We do a lot of energy healing for folks, 6 animals. I still have, I think I have 2 spots, maybe 3 open. If you know anybody, I'd love you share it. I don't usually say money, but it's low cost. So it's like $19.95 because I want people to get a kind of a sense of what it's like to work for me. And it's also turned to be a way for my clients to come back and get a tune-up. How interesting is that? I didn't see it as that. So
Good for you.
thanks. And Margaret, I didn't officially say thank you for Margot. I really loved working with her, and I do appreciate the fact that you hooked us up. Thank you. So
Yay! Awesome.
Fur Buddies thing is a great way to get a particular, like one thing kind of taken
Solved.
care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Full
you.
hour is better for the global picture. I've done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Connie Jo, any announcements?
I would just appreciate if everyone could keep their ears open for people that have had it up to here with their books and really are needing help. I'm here. And I will use my ideal client profile to weed them out if they're not they're not right for me.
You have permission.
No hard feelings.
Go over here. Go over here. I'm a little next in the box. I just want to do a shout out to Mary Beth. I am in her You Connect program, and we are having so much fun. We meet once a week on Wednesday nights with a lovely group of women, and we are connecting with our own animals. This week we connected with Mary Beth's animal, and I'm a novice animal communicator as a result. We're having a lot of time. Good time. Mary Beth, you're doing a great job. So I just want to do a shout out to Mary Beth for my announcement today. Can everybody hear me? Oh, okay. There's like, everybody froze. I'm like, oh shit, did I lose you?
It's like Mary Beth.
Faye, go ahead.
I think it's Mary Beth that's frozen.
Yeah,
She's so, I moved her so much she can't even.
She's stunned.
shocked.
She is.
I want to ask Mary Beth something. Mary Beth, do you connect with metaphysical stores or locations that are not right there in your location? Oh, she's frozen. I'm sorry.
She does connect virtually. I can answer that.
Okay, because there's a wonderful metaphysical store here called Phoenix and Dragon. I love that store. And I wondered if Mary Beth would be interested. I don't know them. I just like to go there and buy things and money.
Spend money at the metaphysical store. I would be doing the same.
I
They have awesome things there. Absolutely awesome things. But I was just going to present her the name of the store in case she wanted to.
What you type in the chat box for her? Because it looks like she's
Okay.
struggling with her.
Was back.
Yeah.
And my announcement was the Northside Women's Magazine. I don't have the link handy without shutting you down to get to it. But if everybody would read the magazine, I'd be really excited and just spread the word on Kathy's Cape. It would make me happy. And we can keep a lot of people warm and snuggly.
Yay. Thank you so much, Faye. We're glad you're back.
Thank you.
Margaret, what's your announcement for today?
Well, one quick thing is about to Mary Beth that I think she found fun about Margot. My friend Margot is an angel reader, so so there was that the spiritualness and metaphysical connecting. I thought that they would enjoy each other, especially. My announcement is a request that this is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And 1 in 3 women will experience abuse at some point in their lives. I would ask that if you donate whatever amount you can, if you could this month, to your local organization, I would greatly appreciate it, because those organizations need your monies to help run those programs. So even though we have a lot of volunteers, we still need the the extra dollars. So
Yeah, that's a great
appreciate
reminder. Thank you for that. As a former survivor of domestic violence, I appreciate that. Thank you, Margaret, for all your work you do.
you're welcome.
Yeah, not my husband, by the way. Somebody asked me. Said,
I figured that.
hell no. Have you seen my husband? He's a sweetie. So that concludes this week's meeting. It was fun, y'all. I appreciate everybody participating and writing down. I hope that you guys can continue to connect and send referrals to each other. Next week we'll be meeting. I don't have a speaker, so we might just do virtual coffee dates. How's that feel? Does that feel good? Yeah. Everybody bring a guest if you could, and make it a lively group. And I think Debbie will be back next week. Hannah will be back next week. Hopefully Judy Fritz. So we'll have a good crowd back. But it was lovely. I think the intimate crowd was lovely today as well. So I'm sending you lots of love. I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
See you
Bye,
all.
ladies. Have a wonderful weekend. Make it beautiful.
A great
Bye,
week.
everyone.
Thank you.